Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Kano Tryharding Modern. For the first time in a very long time, we're actually going to be trying out new cards, as in straight from the next standard set, in Green Tron. So, before I go any further, remember, if you like Green Tron, you want to see me play more, please leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you'd be so inclined. Links to my other social media that is relevant in the description below. Now, so the edition this time is Inscribed Tablet. Now this card is actually better than I thought it was because, surprise, surprise, Kano doesn't read. And so Inscribed Tablet's 1 mana, and then you pay 1 mana and sack it. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land from among them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library. Now for the part I missed. If you didn't put a card in your hand this way, draw a card. So, at absolute worst, this is 2 colorless mana, draw a card. Which, I mean, like, put the top 5 cards of your deck on the bottom, then draw a card. So, this actually matters quite a bit, because I thought this could only hit lands, and I missed that last bit. So this card is better than I initially evaluated it at. And I would put this card as somewhat comparable to a Chromatic Sphere or a Chromatic Star for that reason. Both of those are 2 mana initial investment, get 1 mana back, filter your mana, and draw a card. Inscribed Tablet is very similar to that, in that if you haven't played a land yet, you can potentially draw a land and then get another mana. So if you have like an expedition map or something you want to play after the fact, that could matter. And so that's the first edition. The second edition is out of the sideboard where we have Karn's Sylex. So going to move it over here so y'all can see it. Karn Sylex says it enters the battlefield tapped. It's 3 mana, and it says players cannot pay life to cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. It's important to know that if you're running this in Tron, you should not be playing Dismember, because this will stop you from playing Dismember. And it has X, tap, exile Karn Sylex, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X or less, activate only as a sorcery. Now, a lot of people are evaluating this the same as Oblivion Stone. This is nowhere close to Oblivion Stone. This does a very different thing. The first of which is it turns off your opponent's fetch lands. So in that manner, it's sort of like another lock piece. I would like to play this maybe alongside like a Trinisphere if I'm trying to set up a lock. Second thing is, it has anti-synergy in that regard with Yavimaya. So if you play this intending to shut off your opponent's fetch lands, then you play Yavimaya, surprise, surprise, your opponent's fetch lands can now tap for green mana. So be aware. For those of you who are looking to play this in coffers, you play Urborg. So, you know, remember that. The other thing is, it does enter tapped, and you can only activate it at sorcery. So in that regard, it's a lot worse. You can't do like surprise, destroy, blow up the world shenanigans with, like you can with Oblivion Stone. But there is a couple of situations under which it is better. So versus specifically Magus of the Moon, or Blood Moon, or Alpine Moon, you can play this for a very cheap upfront cost, and then you can pay a much lesser cost than 4 or 5 mana to blow up the board. And I think that that's actually worth evaluating. I don't know that this is good enough to main deck. I suspect there might be metagames where it is really good, but that's why I'm testing it in the Wishboard. Oh, the other circumstance is, like, under the case where your opponent's playing Hammer and they don't kill you immediately, you could kill their stuff while not killing any of your stuff. But I don't know how likely that is actually going to be. So, that's pretty much it. I've made some cuts from my previous list in order to accommodate these changes, and we'll just see how it goes. I have no idea how this is going to play. This is my first time playing with these cards. So, here goes nothing. I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, first round will be on the draw. This hand isn't bad. It could use a little work. I think we are going to mulligan to 6 just because this hand doesn't do anything that fast. Opponent is playing a Yorian deck, so they're probably the big 4 or 5 color money pile. Well, let me hide the event list here. No reason for that to be there. And I definitely moved my record, so I need to... Where it was. Okay. So I will be mulliganing this hand in favor of a better one. Is this better? I think it is actually slightly better. If I keep this hand, what do I put back? I could maybe put back Blast Zone, although not keeping a second land is risky. I'm actually going to try this. I just want to see how this Inscribed Tablet plays, and I'm probably going to get punished for this, but we'll see. So opponent leads on Wooded Foothills. We draw Karn Liberated. So play Power Plant, play Inscribed Tablet, pass the turn. Opponent cracks Wooded Foothills. They get a Raugrin Triumph. Alright. They play Temple Garden, so here comes... Oh, I was going to say Renin 6, but this is Wave Sifter, so it's looking to be the Glimpse combo? Yorian Glimpse combo? That's kind of interesting. Alright, we untap, we draw Chromatic Star. Sack Inscribed Tablet. We do find a tower, that's pretty good. So we will put the tower in our hand, play the tower, and play an Expedition map. That felt pretty good. I mean, there was a chance we didn't hit any lands, and that'd have been a problem, but we would have at least drawn a card. We'll get to see what we would have drawn on our next draw step. Okay, opponent plays a Plains, and plays a Teferi. Okay, they bounce the Expedition map. They're just trying to slow us down. We draw a Chromatic Sphere, so let's play a Star. So we would have drawn the Sphere this turn. Sack Star for green, or we would have drawn that off the tablet had we not hit land. Okay, we hit a tower. Let's go ahead and play another Star. Play tower. Sack for green. Ancient Stirrings. Okay, we did not get the last Tron land, unfortunately. I am going to take a redundant power plant here. I could have taken the safer route of playing the Expedition map there, but I wouldn't be able to play anything in my hand alongside it after cracking for the last Tron land next turn. So I figured it was worth more to try and impulse for the last land there. If my opponent doesn't go, like, infinite wheels into Glimpse of Tomorrow to kill us, we could just play Big Ugin and absolutely mop up the board. Okay, opponent cracks a clue to draw a card. This could be elementals as well. That could just be like, this could be an ephemerate build. Okay, Sundering Titan is nice to have, so let's play map, see if they counter it. Okay, map resolves, so let's go get Urza's Mine. Now, if they have Boseiju, we will be in trouble. But we can kind of play around that by playing Power Plant into Sphere. So now if they Boseiju us, they have to have Boseiju, Renin 6 Boseiju to actually take us off of Tron mana. And if they tap out for something this turn, we can just play Sundering Titan and Armageddon them. Okay, opponent cracks Windswept Heath, so it looks like they're going to play something this turn. Cavern. Okay, now my opponent could have Subtlety. That is something to be aware of. It looks like they're going to play a Risen Reef here. Oh, Shardless Agent, okay. So they are, like, Elemental Glimpse. It's interesting. That's a pretty awful, that's a pretty awful spin. And I mean, sometimes your opponent's gonna glimpse and that's just gonna happen. There's no thing you can do about it. So I have a total of, what is that, 12 mana? So I could play Ugin into Ugin. I mean, that seems good, right? I don't have a backup plan if this gets countered, though. Okay. And then let's just -3. There's no reason to tick up all the way to kill the Leyline Binding. I guess I could, because it gives them one less permanent to glimpse. Yeah, let's do that. That's a little greedy, but I think it's worth. We hit our Boseiju off the top of our deck. Opponent plays a Scalding Tarn, cracks a Scalding Tarn, gets a Hollowed Fountain. Alright, opponent evokes a Wave Sifter. Get some clue tokens. I feel like my game volume is like way up. It shouldn't be. So my apologies if it's been loud up until this point. Alright, we untap. We draw Karn Liberated. So, cycle Chromatic Sphere for green. Let's Sylvan Scrying. So, Karn currently costs 5 mana, and Sundering Titan currently costs 6. So, we are just going to, like, absolutely destroy them. Let's get a third tower. Play it. Play Karn. Take out a land. Opponent's going to crack a clue in response. I've never had 3 active Planeswalkers playing Tron. This is an achievement. Shoot our opponent. I'm a little bit slow rolling here because I know the Sundering Titan will probably cause them to scoop, but what other time am I going to get to do this? Sundering Titan. Alright, take out their lands. Yeah, we'll attack for 2. The opponent didn't scoop. I think they should. I don't know what would beat this. That 2 mana Planar Cleansing. Actually, there is a 3 mana Planar Cleansing. I just don't think anyone plays it. The Hour of Revelation. But that would be a feat. My opponent casts Hour of Revelation against me. Alright, so Yorian Glimpse. I'm going to look up a deck list for this. It's not a deck I've seen that often. I know of Glimpse combo, but not the Yorian build so well. Yeah, I'm not seeing a Yorian build, actually, so for all of these elemental glimpses, we're looking at, like, Foundation Breakers and Subtleties. And Veil of Summer does not actually help against Subtlety at all. I suppose it's theoretically possible they could play, like, Blood Moon? They do. Some of them play Mystical Dispute. Yeah, I think I'm just going to run it back, and we're going to see how it goes. I will say I'm happy to see that Inscribed Tablet did what it did, so. I think against a lot of other decks it would not have worked, that line specifically, but. Alright, well we've got turn 3 Tron, so we'll keep it. This is probably one of our best threats against our opponent for just the ability to, like, downtick and exile their entire board. Especially if they, like, don't flip too many lands, then they have a really hard time setting back up again. Now, odds are my opponent's going to keep a hand that has a Subtlety, so we might just have to keep putting Ugin back on top, but we'll see. Alright, so we're keeping. Opponent did keep a hand of 7. They start Misty Rainforest. We draw Natural Tron. So we'll lead on mine, play map. If they have a Foundation Breaker, odds are they'll use it. And if they have a Foundation Breaker, then at least we are protected against it. Because we no longer need the map. Opponent plays a Plains, okay. Play a Power Plant, pass the turn. With Ulamog in hand, we will be tutoring up a second tower here. Opponent plays a Windswept Heath, cracks it. I imagine they're going to go for a Teferi here. Okay, they fetch up a Breeding Pool. And they play a Risen Reef, okay. Risen Reef finds them a Cavern, which they're going to put on Elemental. Okay. So I think best top deck here is Karn. Yeah. Get a redundant tower. Untap. We draw a sphere. Play the tower. Play star. Sack star for green. Opponent is holding up my turn here. I'm not sure why. They might just be like representing, hey, we have a free counterspell. Okay, we draw Karn Great Creator, which is actually pretty decent here. So we would, if Karn resolves, I don't have Walking Ballista in this build, which would be very nice. I think I have to get Chalice and put it on 0. So play Karn. The good news about this is, if they have a Subtlety, they're going to have to use it here, and they're going to have to build their board next turn, which would mean like we could resolve an Ulamog or an Ugin unimpeded. Yeah, unfortunately I can't get Trinisphere. Trinisphere here would be actually really insane, but I only have 2 mana left because I had to cycle into this Karn. So we pick up Chalice, play Chalice on 0. Then play Chromatic Sphere. Sack Sphere for green. Okay, Wurmcoil is probably not going to be relevant this game. At least I hope it's not, because if it is, that means we're losing. Alright, opponent. So opponent can no longer cast Glimpse of Tomorrow. They have Fury. So Fury kills Karn. They drew a card off of the Risen Reef trigger. Okay, they evoke a Wave Sifter. Risen Reef puts a land into play, makes some clues. They attack us for 1. Go to 19. And they crack a clue to draw a card. We untap and draw Urza's Mine, play Tower. We are going to cast Ulamog, and we are going to take out Risen Reef and a Raugrin Triome. Now, Ugin, I think, technically had a higher payoff here, potentially, because of Solitude and Subtlety being a thing. But by playing Ulamog, we play around Subtlety. Okay, opponent cracks their other clue to draw a card and concedes because they have no answer to Ulamog. Alright! That's a round win. Sorry I wasn't keeping track of the matches there, but I'll see you guys in round 2. Alrighty, round 2. And I am going to mulligan. This hand is pretty awful. We are on the draw again. I mean, we have a tablet. And a few more redraws. I mean, going to 5 is almost certainly better than this hand, but I believe in tablet. So I'm going to keep it again. We're going to see what happens. The opponent leads on Swamp. So this might be Coffers. Play an Inscribed Tablet, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Castle Locthwain. This is almost certainly Coffers. Plunge into Darkness. Plunge into Darkness, paying almost all of its life away. Interesting. Street Wraith, Dismember. Oh, it's a Shadow deck. Interesting. Alright. Well, I mean, that potentially could cause us some pretty big issues. So we got a Mine, we get a Tower. Tablet has been doing work so far. Play Star. Pass the turn. I mean, if we make it to Karn mana, we're gonna win, I imagine. Okay, opponent fetches with Marsh Flats. It's a basic Swamp. They go to 6. They play Death Shadow. And they play Shadow of Mortality. Alright, I mean, we really would like a power plant right off the top here. We didn't get one. Let's go ahead and sack Star for green, see what we find. Power plant! There we go. Play Wurmcoil Engine. Wurmcoil Engine is pretty good against Death Shadow. Mainly because they have to kill it like 3 times. Man, tablet, doing work. Okay, opponent attacks with both. We will block this Death Shadow, because that's the one that's going to get bigger. This one just is easier to cast. So we take 7, we gain 6, we go to 19, and we get some tokens. Opponent is casting something on the damage step. That's concerning. Could it be an Ninjutsu something? Dismember. Okay, so they dismember the Death Touch token. We draw Sanctum. Well, I mean, play Sanctum. Play Sundering Titan. Sack Sanctum. Get Ulamog. And kill a Swamp. And I am going to attack for 3. This is an interesting deck. I've not seen this build of a deck like this. So they have to kill Sundering Titan to actually be able to connect with Shadow, and when they do, they lose another Swamp. Game's over. Alright. That's a match win for us. I will bring in Veil, and I think versus a mono black deck, should I be bringing in Force? I mean, Karn Sylex would be hilariously good against this deck if I could get it on the battlefield. And I think for that reason, I'm actually going to just stick it in the main deck, and we'll see what happens. Because I don't think it's something I would wish for. I think I have better things to wish for against my opponent's deck. So I'm going to put Wurmcoil Engine in the wish board. And I need to cut 3 cards if I want to make Veil available. I'll put an Oblivion Stone in the wish board as well. Ugin is fantastic against Shadow, but terrible against Shadow Mortality. Sundering Titan versus a mono black deck's also probably kind of bad. We can just have both of those in the sideboard. And You know what? I'm only going to bring in 2 Veil of Summer. We'll try it like this. Man, I can't believe that Tablet is doing that much work for us. I know I'm getting lucky. By no means am I suggesting that I kept good hands. But, like, Tablet dug us out of some pretty terrible situations, and it's comparable to Ancient Stirring. So, at least when you're looking for lands. So, alright. I think this is a mulligan. We can Veil, but if they've got turn 1 hand hate, Veil's not that great. This hand is really slow, but we have Blast Zone, which is really good against Shadow specifically. You know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to put back Boseiju, and we're going to keep this hand. It's been a while since I've seen Plunge into Darkness. There used to be a deck that would play Spoils and Plunge and Death Shadow, and the idea was they would go to negative life, which would grow Shadow beyond to 13/13, and then Rite of Consumption to fling the Shadow at their opponent to kill them instantly. It was like Angel's Grace. It was like an Angel's Grace enabled combo. But the thing was, when Hour of Devastation came out, they actually changed the ruling on that. They said that if you're at negative life, Shadow is now a 13/13. It doesn't get as big as, you know, negatives, because subtracting a negative number is apparently difficult for a lot of people. So the deck actually like ceased to exist after that point, which I thought was kind of sad, but it was interesting to see that it had ever existed in the first place. So opponent fetches with Marsh Flats to get a swamp. I did dump the Karn Sylex back onto the bottom of the deck. Okay, so I probably should have brought in Force, but at least I kept Blast Zone. I can only cast 1 spell this turn, so I'm going to cast another Ancient Stirrings. I will take an Urza's Mine. So we do have Tron now, and Blast Zone can deal with Damping Sphere, so I'm wondering if they kept a hand specifically off of the strength of Damping Sphere. Their deck does kind of seem like a deck that may want to cast multiple spells in a turn. So like if they plunge for Shadow here, even if they have a land, they can't cast the Shadow. So they go all the way to 4 life. Okay. We can even hide this Blast Zone. Well, no, they've seen it. They've seen the Blast Zone. And they are even playing Scourge of the Skyclaves as well. So we draw Karn. Play Urza's Mine. Play Sphere. Sack Sphere for green. Then play pay 2 mana to cast Ancient Stirrings. And I will take, I guess, an Ugin. Okay, rest at the bottom. Pass the turn. I imagine this would be a really easy matchup if I had Walking Ballista in the sideboard, because I could just wish for Walking Ballista and be like, pew pew, you're dead. Okay, they get Shadow of Mortality, so they're playing around Blast Zone, which makes sense. So I have to play Blast Zone this turn. And since I need to tick this up to 2, I can play Chromatic Star this turn. Alright. Then we'll pass. I'm actually not going to crack this Chromatic Star on the off chance I need to animate it as a blocker, and that actually works, so... Okay, opponent attacks us for 7. Go to 13. They have a second Shadow of Mortality, okay. So, we are going to still tick up Blast Zone to 2. We untap, we draw Inscribed Tablet. So, play Power Plant. And then play Karn. And we do have to animate Chromatic Star to survive. I mean, if they have a Fatal Push, if they have a Dismember, then we're dead. But if Chromatic Star survives, we can survive a turn. They can kill Karn by attacking him, but I don't think they should. I think my opponent should attack 2 at me. Okay, they have Dismember. We draw an Ulamog, and we lose. Well, the good news is we know they're playing Damping Sphere, so we can bring in Force. I had a sneaking suspicion they would be playing some form of Artifact or Enchantment Hate for Tron, whether that's Lithoform, Blight, or Damping Sphere, but, I mean, I don't know. I felt like Veil of Summer might be better in the average scenario. Bringing in Karn Sylex kind of seems like a meme, so I'm going to put it back in the sideboard to make room for the Forces, and we'll try it like this. Play first. Natural Tron, Karn, absolutely going to keep. If opponent has turn 2 Damping Sphere, then they have turn 2 Damping Sphere. But if they don't, oh buddy, they'll be in a world of hurt. We'll start mine, play Star. Pass the turn. The other great thing about this hand is if they do lead on a Thoughtseize, we're basically insulated from it because we have 2 threats. Inquisition doesn't work either. It has to be double Thoughtseize to take us off Karn. Or I guess technically they could have Surgical Extraction. Surgical Extraction would be pretty brutal here. Draw another Urza's Mine, so play a Power Plant. I'm going to not crack either of these stars for 2 reasons. The first one being, I don't want to draw a threat that they want to Thoughtseize and I want to actually cast. The second being, if I make it to 4 lands and they play Damping Sphere this turn, I want the ability to actually cast a Force of Vigor using my colorless mana, basically. So, okay, well they did not have Damping Sphere on turn 2, and they did indeed have the second Thoughtseize. So let's play Tower and start sacking stars. See if we can't draw something that we can play. Unfortunately, we cannot play a Karn this turn. Ancient Stirrings. We can pick up a Ugin. Rest at the bottom. Play Inscribed Tablet. Sack it using the colorless mana. I will not... I should be able to fail to find. Oh, you can't fail to find. Okay, so this card is actually slightly worse than my reevaluation of it. I thought you could fail to find. I thought this was look at the top 5. If this was look at the top 5, you may reveal a land and put it into your hand. Otherwise, draw a card. This card would be way more powerful. But because you reveal all of the cards you impulse, you cannot fail to find from that hidden set of cards, because the cards aren't hidden. So you can't just choose to draw a card. Okay, that actually makes that card significantly worse. But, I mean, in terms of finding a land, it's up there with Ancient Stirrings and Sylvan Scrying, so... Alright, we untap, we draw Force of Vigor. So... I mean, I guess we just play Karn, right? What would my opponent have to be able to kill Karn? They won't be able to, like, kick Blood Chief's Thirst. They would need, like, a Baleful Mastery or a March of Wretched Sorrow pitching their whole hand. If I fetch Sanctum of Ugin, I can't play Ugin this turn. I probably should just play Ugin this turn. So let's uptick on our opponent's hand, because we're going to want Karn to stick around. We get a Castle Lochthwain out of the deal. Play a Forest. Play Ugin. Shoot our opponent for 3. And play Expedition. Pass the turn. Now, them losing life is potentially hazardous for our health. But I'm not actually that worried. If they have like a bunch of Death Shadows, I can just get Blast Zone and kill them all. Or down-tick Ugin. I think I'm going to go the Blast Zone route here. Because then I can uptick Ugin and threaten to ult. So we kill both of those, shoot our opponent again. We'll take out their Castle Lochthwain, pass the turn, and next turn we ult Ugin, which will hopefully win the game, because we'll draw so many cards and put a bunch of stuff onto the battlefield. Okay, ult Ugin. I should have down-ticked Karn first. That's actually a punt. Put up to 7 cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Alright, opponent scoops. So, that's a round win. I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, we are on the play for round 3, and I think this is a mulligan. This is also a mulligan. We're going to 5. Yeesh. I don't know about going to 4. This is kind of just a slow Tron assembly. I think I'm going to keep this. We are going to put back, I think, Big Karn and one Little Karn. And unfortunately, we have to start on a forest, and we play Inscribed Tablet. So hopefully Inscribed Tablet can find us a second land, and we can then Sylvan Scrying our way to the other Tron bits, but our opponent leading on Urza's Mind does not bode well for our health. Play Power Plant, pass the turn. Okay, opponent is going to have a natural Tron Assembly, looks like. So Sylvan Scrying. Oh, we're getting Warping Wailed. Alright, well, play Blast Zone, play Inscribed Tablet. Pass the turn. That was a pretty brutal Warping Wail. Tower. Alright. Oh, it's Eldrazi Tron. We actually stand a chance then. Not a huge one, but we do. So they took the other Sylvan Scrying. We untap. Draw Ugin the Ineffable. So crack Inscribed Tablet. Okay, we whiff, so we get to draw. That's not good. Alright, pass the turn. Oh no, second tower? Okay, we're done. In most Tron matchups, it's race to interact with your opponent's mana base first. That's how you win. I am going to be bringing in the Force of Vigors for this matchup, and I think versus Eldrazi Tron, we are definitely cutting Sundering Titan and a big Ugin, and we are cutting a small Ugin as well, because small Ugin just doesn't do anything, and big Ugin basically only lightning bolts into an ult, so... Alright, we're going to run it back now. Hopefully we keep a much stronger hand. Being on the play is a massive advantage. This hand is awful. Okay, well, I mean, we've got 2/3 of Tron, and we have a Ancient Stirring, so this isn't the best hand, but it is a hand that can win. I'm going to put back Big Ugin. I would rather have the Yavimaya, like if I potentially have to wish for Sundering Titan, just to put a threat out and destroy a land, but... Okay, so we'll play an Urza's Mine, play Chromatic Star, pass the turn. Okay, opponent also is playing Inscribed Tablet. I imagine it's pretty good in the Eldrazi version of the deck, just because they don't have, like, Sylvan Scrying Ancient Stirrings. Mine, third tower, unfortunately, I think we've got to take Karn Great Creator here. Put the rest of the bottom, play another tower. Okay. Well, if they were holding 2 lands, they definitely have the third now. They played a tower. Which one did they grab? They activated ability of... It doesn't say which one they took! Yeah, they played tower, but that doesn't mean that they took it off of the thing. That's frustrating. This is also frustrating. We'll play another tower. Pass the turn. I really hope we draw a power plant. Okay, they're going, instead of going for the Tron Assembly, they're going for a Thought-Knots here, which is fine, because we have multiple threats. Okay, we take Big Karn. That is definitely the best in the event that we draw the last Tron piece. So we're going to play a Forest, play Karn. So I could have upticked to prevent them from attacking and killing him, but I think I'm better off wishing for a threat. So I'm actually going to take... Oh, I should have played Yavimaya. Let's see. I'm going to Sylvan Scrying. I definitely should have played Yavimaya. That's a punt. It might be a game-losing punt. I have to get Ensnaring Bridge now. I have to get Ensnaring Bridge and try to set up for the second Karn being good. Okay. Opponent attacks our Karn. Kills him. They unlock their Expedition map. They sack map. They're going to go get their last Tron land. They play it. They get their own Karn Great Creator. And they wish for... Pithing Needle. Alright. And they play Pithing Needle, naming Karn Great Creator. Karn Liberated. Okay. We untap. We draw another Sylvan Scrying. So, Sylvan Scrying. We get Power Plant. Play the Power Plant. Play Karn. And play Ensnaring Bridge. And wish for Sundering Titan, I guess. Alright, pass the turn. So opponent, if they have a Dismember, they can animate the bridge and dismember it. An Ulamog or Ballista? Oh! Yep. I mean, we have another Sylvan Scrying, but we needed that bridge to survive an Ulamog. Do I have any way to deal with this? I guess... No, Karn Liberated doesn't do it either. I don't have a Karn Liberated to go get. An opponent wishes for a Liquimetal Coating and will be able to use it. Yeah, I guess I lost by missequencing my lands. I was afraid that was going to be a game-losing mistake, and it was. That doesn't really do anything. I can go up to 5 mana. Yeah, alright. I missequenced, so that was my bad. I didn't think about Eldrazi Tron getting better with Inscribed Tablet, so... Alright, I'll see you guys in round 4. Alright, we are on the play for round 4, and we almost have Natural Tron, but we will have to mulligan this hand. No early action, just seems like suicide. You know, I think this might be worth keeping. Question is, what do I put back? Boseiju could actually matter a lot depending on what I'm up against, so I think I'm going to put back a forest. I might end up just playing Boseiju as a forest. So we'll lead on tower and play Inscribed Tablet. I could have played Chromatic Sphere if I was going for the greedy line of trying to draw another Tron piece. Okay, it looks like we are against Goblins. That actually means Boseiju might be pretty relevant. We want a Sphere on the battlefield now. If my opponent misses a land drop, we will be Boseijuing 100%. It's not likely that that's the case. They kept a hand with 1 land and Aether Vial, but... Yep. Goblin. Okay, opponent has Conspicuous Snoop, revealing Auntie's Hovel. Alright, we untap. We draw Ugin the Ineffable. Cycle Sphere, let's see what we draw. Alright, we're going to Sylvan Scrying for Power Plant. There's a huge chance we just immediately die, but this is the only way we even kind of come close to having a chance. So, pass the turn. We needed to top deck, after drawing Ugin the Ineffable, we needed to top deck the final Tron piece. My opponent draws Goblin Matron. They reveal Sling Gang Lieutenant to Auntie's Hovel. They play the Goblin Matron. So they're presumably going to tutor up the one that tutors to the top of the deck. Bog something. 3 mana Black Goblin. Boggart Harbinger. Yes, that's the one. Actually, they tutored for another Goblin Matron? But they're drawing Boggart Harbinger. Okay. So we untap. We draw Sundering Titan. Sundering Titan does nothing against this board. Let's see. I have a couple of different things I can do here. I can play Small Ugin and kill Conspicuous Snoop, then try to cantrip and cast something else. I can take the greedy line and try and activate Tablet, and if I hit another Tron land, I can then play Ugin the Ineffable, and I might be able to Boseiju to take out this Aether Vial. Let me think about that for a second. If I tap 2, use 1, I'll be down to 6. If I hit a 2 mana land, I'll be up to 8 again. No, that just lets me develop my mana. I need to play out Boseiju and play Big Ugin. Yeah, so down tick. If they have another Conspicuous Snoop, we just lose. Okay. Opponent did not violin anything at 2 mana. They take up Vial to 3, and they draw a card. They play a Swamp. Do another Holding Boggart Harbinger. Soken'Zan, Crucible of Defiance. They make 2 1/1 spirits that are colorless. Interesting. Alright. So they attack Ugin down to 2. We untap. We draw Inscribed Tablet. Let's start by cycling for green. Another tower is pretty good. So if I play the tower, I have 11 mana. That's 1 short of playing Ugin into Sundering Titan. So let's crack Inscribed Tablet and see what we get off of that. Probably a land. It is a land. Okay. Can they kill me next turn is the question. I don't know if there's anything I can do about it if they can. So I need to play Sundering Titan, because otherwise they can violin Goblin Matron. They can get another Conspicuous Snoop directly to their hand. Then they will have 5 mana. They play Snoop, they play Boggart Harbinger, they get infinite. They go infinite by putting a Kiki Jiki on top of their deck. So we play a tower. We play Sundering Titan, because this should keep them off of just the amount of mana they need. Kill the swamp. Shoot a spirit. Play tablet and crack tablet. Okay, another land. We're in pretty precarious circumstances now. Really, if that Sundering Titan had been able to take out... Oh, actually, I'm still dead. They just leave Vial on 3 and there's nothing I can do about it. I was like, they can activate Vial, but they'll activate Vial twice in the time period I've described. So they can go get Snoop, then they can just cast Snoop. No? They get a Munitions Expert? Did they just, like, completely forget that they can do what I was describing? Take up to 4. Weird. I think my opponent just completely forgot they have an infinite combo in their deck. Okay. I mean, that sucks, but it's better than dying on the spot. Yeah. Okay, we untap. We draw Sylvan Scrying. Does that help? I don't know that that helps. I can get Blast Zone, and then I can take out the Aether Vial. That might be worth it. Yeah, let's do that. And we can play Ugin, and I don't think I downtick on Sling Gang. I think I uptick. Okay, pass the turn. I don't know. Maybe I'm still dead. Maybe opponent only has 1 Conspicuous Snoop in their deck. Maybe opponent is new to Goblins. I don't know. I think I should have been dead by now. Boggart Harbinger. What are you putting on top of your deck, opponent? Ringleader. Alright, opponent has decided to play fair. I think they're just going to try and aggro us down. I unfortunately have no way to kill this spirit token. What is happening? Well, I think now I kill Sling Gang. Otherwise I'm just going to die to them sacking their board and killing me. Yep, they drain us for 1. We play a land. Pass the turn. Okay, so if we can get the spirit token killed, I'm pretty sure we can win the game on the spot, because we can go get Karn and then get, like, Sylex and just deal with the entire board. Opponent plays Goblin Ringleader. They get a Snoop and a Fanatic. That's a problem. Because now they can play Snoop, and depending on what's on top of their deck, we might die. Oh, they're attacking? That's actually awesome. Because of this spirit token. No, attack with the 2-power creatures! Opponent! You had it right the first time! For me! That's how I win! Alright, oh, that would have been so awesome if they'd done that. There's a Goblin Trash Master on top of their deck. So they can sack a Goblin to kill Sundering Titan. They do. We can take out 2 of their lands, at least. Not that I'm sure that does anything, but... So they're holding a Mog Fanatic. Okay. Alright. It does stuff, right? There are words on that. Cast Ulamog. We'll take out the Snoop and the Harbinger? Alright. Okay. This is one of the weirdest games I've played in a long time. Just Trash Master. Sling Gang Lieutenant. Okay. Alright. We untap. Draw Sylvan Scrying. Does that help? Don't know that it does. So we already have Boseiju on the board. And get what? Yavimaya, Tron land, or Sanctum. We'll take Sanctum. Okay, let me math here. If I attack with Ulamog, I put my opponent dead to one more Ulamog attack. My opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 power and attackers, and no matter what I block, I can only prevent 1 damage because I have to block. Then they can sack all 7, 8, possibly 9. If my opponent plays 3 goblins, I die. We know they're holding Trash Master, so they can't. So I attack with Ulamog. But I have to leave back the Spirit Token. And if they can kill the Spirit Token, that actually matters too. They actually shouldn't chump here. They should take the damage. Because I'm not going to kill them with damage, I'm going to kill them by milling them out. Okay, opponent does chump, so that makes the calculation more favorable for me on a possible attack here. Okay, they have an Auntie's Hop. Oh! It's an Anthem! I completely forgot. I did the math completely wrong. Am I dead? I could be dead. I'm probably dead. That's a lot of goblins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're still not dead. We are still not dead. That's what I want to see. Okay, we untap. We draw Ancient Stirrings. It's Ancient Stirrings, because if we hit Oblivion Stone, that'd be good. We'll take a Karn Liberated. So, go to combat. Attack with Ulamog. We'll exile the rest of their deck. Okay. Okay, I think opponent threw that game. But, I mean, I'll take it. So, what do? We can bring in Veil, but they don't really play Thoughtseizes, so I don't think that's worth. We can bring in Force just to deal with Aether Vial, which it's possible they keep a hand that relies on Aether Vial. I don't know how likely that is, and I don't know how likely it is they keep a hand with Aether Vial that Force is good against, and we have Force, and we can cast it. That seems a little bit difficult. So I'm actually not going to swap up the main deck. I'm just going to run it back as is. Okay. This hand is okay, but I think I'm going to mulligan. This hand is almost perfect, but I have to mulligan this hand as well. Alright, we will be keeping. So we are going to put back Expedition Map and Sundering Titan. And the reason I'm keeping Star Scrying over Expedition Map is because Star will draw me an additional card, which gives me the opportunity at an additional threat. Okay, Oblivion Stone's also good. Opponent reveals Goblin Matron off of Aether Vial, or off of Auntie's Hovel. So, play Power Plant, play Star, pass the turn. Aether Vial taken up to 1. Opponent plays a Cavern, naming Goblin, and passes. We untap, we draw Ancient Stirrings. Sack Star for green. Get Sanctum, play Tower. Scrying. We get Urza's Mine. Pass the turn. Okay. I mean, if they just have Snoop Harbinger, we lose. Snoop Land Harbinger, excuse me. They reveal Matron again. They play Blood Moon. I did not expect Blood Moon, but we are holding Oblivion Stone. So, play Urza's Mine. Play Chromatic Sphere. Cycle Sphere for green. Cast Ancient Stirrings. Get a Forest. Rest at the bottom. Pass the turn. Next turn we can play land, Oblivion Stone, then hopefully untap and blow up the world. As long as they don't have a Trash Master, we should be fine. Trash Master or just, like, kill us. Okay, so they play Matron. They reveal Snoop. They pass the turn. We untap and draw Ugin. We play a Forest. Play O-Stone. So now we see if we're dead to the combo. I wonder if last game they just revealed the same Matron twice and that's why they couldn't kill us, because I thought they had another Matron. So opponent is drawing a Thoughtseize. They take Vial up to 3. They have a Mountain on top of their deck. I mean, if they have Harbinger, we're dead. Or if they have Matron into Harbinger, we're dead. Does Kiki kill us? If they have 2 Kiki-Jikis in the deck, we die. Okay, so they did get Harbinger. If they have a second Kiki-Jiki, we lose. They do. Alright, fair play, fair play. So for those of you that don't know how the combo works, they can make infinite copies of Conspicuous Snoop by copying itself into copy Boggart Harbinger, and then they can either get Mog Fanatic and have them all sack themselves to deal 1 damage, or they can get Sling Gang Lieutenant. And put it on top of the deck, of course. So we are going to bring in the Force of Vigors. I think Wurmcoil Engine, we can put 1 into the side. We can probably drop Sundering Titan into the wish board. It's not going to be that great, I think, in most situations. As is Karn Liberated. Opponent plays a lot of stuff, puts a lot of stuff on board. I should have thought about Blood Moon. I haven't played against Goblins in a long time. You want to call that a punt? That can be a punt. This hand's a mulligan. This hand is probably better than most 5s, especially against a person that we know is playing Blood Moon. If I keep this hand, what do I put back? I mean, we have Boseiju, so like we could Boseiju a Blood Moon, but I would have to have green mana for that, which means I need the star. I don't really want to put back O-Stone, but maybe I put back O-Stone if I keep this hand. Otherwise, I have to go to 5 and just hope for Tron. I think I'm going to go to 5. Yeah, alright. This was worth. I'm going to keep the Force. I have to put back the Forest and the Scrying. So, maybe I'm supposed to put back the Ugin and keep the Scrying to take out a Blood Moon and Aether Vial, but I think we just go all in on trying to assemble Tron here. Like if we resolve an Ugin, there's a really good chance we just win. Main Karn's good too. They can potentially turn to a Blood Moon because they play Skirk Prospector. Damping Sphere. Alright, well we are going to go get Power Plant. We just need to draw a green spell. Okay, there's a green spell. Play Power Plant, pass the turn. Okay, they reveal Conspicuous Snoop. They play the Snoop. They reveal a Thoughtseize on top of their deck. So we force the Damping Sphere, untap, draw a Chromatic Sphere, play Karn, kill the Snoop, pass the turn. So opponent's main way of killing a Karn would be like a Goblin King and a 1-drop here, or like a Mog War Marshal and a Munitions Expert. I don't think they can kill Karn with just 1 card here. Blue-black something. Boggart Heart on top. If they put Kiki on top, I actually have to downtick and kill Boggart. Conspicuous Snoop, okay. So we draw Karn Great Creator. What does that do for us? Karn Great Creator can get us a Engineered Explosives. That doesn't do anything. It can get us a Liquimetal Coating, and we can Liquimetal Coating Conspicuous Snoop. But that doesn't do anything if there is a Kiki-Jiki on top. We can get a Trinisphere. That doesn't really do anything. Sylex doesn't do anything here. It might just be Coating. Do we know what their last card in hand is? I don't think we do. I am going to uptick Karn, though. It was a Trash Master. In that case, let's play Karn Great Creator. I have been missing Ballista out of the sideboard, I think. Let's get Coating, and we will play Sphere Coating here. Pass the turn. Opponent draws their Conspicuous Snoop. They play the Snoop. They reveal Aether Vial. Okay, that should mean we win. Nice. Yeah, so that was a Hail Mary play by the opponent. They were looking for just having like a natural Kiki on top, I think. So, alright, that's a round win. I'll see you guys in round 5. We got a treasure chest. Feels like it's been a while, huh? Alright, we are on the play for round 5, and this is a mulligan. This is really close to a keep. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this. And I'm going to put back a sphere. I am going to lead on Inscribed Tablet, And my logic here is, if I get a second land off Inscribed Tablet, I'll want to use Ancient Stirrings to find a threat, most likely. Opponent plays a Treetop Village. Is this Jund? Like, Boomer Jund? Like, the Silent Generation Jund? Okay, we get a Forest. So I'm going to play a Tower and play a Star. Pass the turn. Like Ancient Jund. I haven't seen Treetop Village in ages. Nurturing Peatland. Okay. Tarmogoyf! Alright, we get a Karn Great Creator. Sack Star, add green. Another Star. Okay, play Star. Sack it and add green. Ugin. Ancient Stirrings. There's a Mine. So the question now is, do we want to play around K-Command, or do we want to play around Thoughtseize? And I think we play around Thoughtseize. It's possible my opponent is just playing Rock. I don't know why, when Wrenn and 6 is a thing, you would want to play Rock over something like Jund, but... Okay. We played around Thoughtseize. I feel vindicated. Please don't vindicate me. Opponent takes Karn Great Creator. Assassin's Trophy taking out the Mine. Okay. Well, opponent vindicated me. They hit us for 5, we go to 15, we untap, draw another map. So we map for Power Plant, play Power Plant, then play map. Same thing, gonna play around Thoughtseize. Well, I mean, I guess I'm not really, if they take Ugin, I'm out of action then, but... Another Assassin's Trophy, and the worst part is I am out of basics. So I can't even crack map on their turn. Alright, opponent hits us for 5. We untap and draw Boseiju. So let's go get a Mine. Play a Mine. Pass the turn. We're going to have to rip a Power Plant right off the top here, and our opponent can't have any further interaction with us. Which is unlikely considering their deck. They animate Treetop Village, take 8 and go to 2. I guess I could have Bosieju'd that. I probably should have. Play Sphere. So I will list that as a punt. Cycle for green. Ancient Stirrings. Come on, Power Plant. Mine. Alright. That's a loss. That's just unfortunate. Okay, we will be bringing in Veil of Summers for the Assassin's Trophy. Do they play Damping Sphere is a question. Has there even been any Tarmogoyf decks in the last, I don't know, 3 metagames? So my opponent is almost certainly on just the Rock. So they play Dauthi Voidwalker, bunch of instants and sorceries. They play Pithing Needle. I don't think I want the Forces. Probably going to regret that, but I don't think I do. I'm going to cut an Ulamog. It's good. It's really good. It's just hard to get to. I'm going to put an Oblivion Stone on the side, and I think I'm going to cut 1 Ugin. We're going to try it like this. Alright, I would like to play first. This hand doesn't do anything. This hand kind of does. I mean, it casts Veil, just not on turn 1, when my opponent is most likely to have a Thoughtseize. Yeah, we're going to go to 5. Rolling to 4. This is not how you win against a deck that wants to trade resources. I mean, alright, we're keeping this. I'm not going to 3. Put Ulamog back, put O-Stone back, put Scrying back, I guess. Lead on Blast Zone into Star. Let's go. How do you beat Thoughtseize? Simple. Don't have any cards in your hand. Opponent just plays a land tap. They're not worried. We draw Power Plant. Sack Star, add green. We draw Wurmcoil Engine, Ancient Stirring. We get a Mine. Rest of the bottom. Play a Mine. Play a Sphere. Pass the turn. Now, if I can cast Wurmcoil Engine, that'll be really good. Opponent plays a Swamp. Play an Ignoble Hierarch. We untap. We draw a Tower. Alright. So, sack Sphere for green. Play a map. Play Power Plant. Pass the turn. We are not cracking map unless our opponent casts Assassin's Trophy. And then we are getting a redundant copy of whatever they hit. And we're actually almost able to, if they had like running Assassin's Trophies, we might actually be able to just hardcast this Wurmcoil Engine. No, you jerk! You can't Necromentia me! Oh, how am I going to beat that? Oh, I need to tutor for another land. I'll tutor for Yavimaya, I guess. Ridiculous. Since when do they play Necromentia? That's some coffer shenanigans. It's a good card. Memoricide effects are incredibly powerful. I think they're really underrated. The problem is they are very narrow in their usage. If we had had turn 3 Tron, we would have been fine. Oh, man. Alright, play Yavimaya, and I guess smack our opponent for 2. I mean, if we just draw 2 more lands, we can play our hand, so... It's not like it's hopeless. It's just, we can no longer Tron. Now if they resolve, like, Liliana of the Veil after that, then yeah, we're pretty donezo. Okay, Grist is in that category of things that, you know, will do us a egregious amount of harm. We untap, we draw Forest. Alright, we're almost there. Play a Forest. Pass the turn. We're going to have to Ugin downtick on Grist, though. And Ugin is going to die after that. Okay, opponent Inquisitions. They whiff on an Inquisition. They can try and strip mine us with Field of Ruin. But we do have a second basic. Our opponent did not, I don't think, saw the second basic in the first game. The problem is we're really unlikely to draw land because we already have seen, let's see, 10 of our 18 lands. So, I actually think I do. Oh no! We just needed a land! We just needed a land. And our opponent found a Castle Lochthwain. That's super bad for us. Give me a land. It's not a land. Ancient Stirrings, find me a land, please. None of those are lands! Karn Great Creator is like just as likely to get Thought Seized. So we'll take a Scrying, rest of the bottom. Or we'll take a Star, I mean. Give me a land. It's not a land! No! We only have 8 lands left in the deck. It's like a 20% chance to draw land right now. Okay, opponent Lochthwains gets an extra card. They untap. They uptick Grist at 8. They're probably holding a second Grist. There's like no way they're not. We go to 15. We untap. We draw Karn Great Creator. We can play Karn at least. And then we wish for... What do we wish for? Relic? Just a cantrip? Sylex, maybe? No, Sylex I don't think does anything. Coating doesn't do anything. Bridge doesn't do anything. Explosives can kill all the tokens. That might actually matter. So, play out Explosives on 0. Pass the turn. I'm not giving up yet. I probably will give up soon, though, so don't have too much hope. Alright, 4 mana. Endurance. Okay. I mean, like, so, against Necromentia, the way that we beat Necromentia is to have a Veil of Summer. And we did have Veil of Summer in the deck, we just didn't have the opportunity to cast a Veil of Summer. And none of the other hands we mulliganed away either had any chance of beating a Necromentia. In fact, the only way we could have beaten Necromentia is by having mulliganed, had our opponent not play that Ignoble Hierarch on turn 1, and getting turn 3 Tron, and having a threat. So, I think I played correctly. Okay, they do kill Karn. Make another insect. Play Goyf. But now they're just getting too much stuff. They've had too many turns to draw stuff, so... GG! I mean, that's a tough matchup. Alright, well we got a treasure chest, and it feels like it's been ages since we've got a treasure chest. So let's open our treasure chest, and then I'm going to talk about the deck a little. 5 play points, a Double Masters 2022 Simic Growth Chamber, which is very pretty, and a Garza Zal, Plague Queen. Little known fact, I've played this card in Limited in its intended format of Cold Snap, so. Alright. So what do we think? Specifically about Inscribed Tablet. So Inscribed Tablet, I think, is worthy of inclusion in the deck. I think it has added some additional consistency that Tron is going to need, particularly in the face of all of the Ghost Quarter, Cleansing Wildfire, Assassin Trophy, etc. effects. I think that playing 18 lands and only having 2 basics is wrong. I think you're going to need at least 3 basics in the main deck. Now, whether that means you put a Boseiju in the sideboard and be able to bring it in for having 19 lands versus decks like that are going to be playing Blood Moons or other things that you want to Boseiju, maybe an opposing Tron player, I think you're going to need at least 3 basic forests. And that rock deck that we just played against kind of showed that. But Inscribed Tablet in the general sense, like, we got lucky with it in our first couple of matches. I'm not going to lie and say that, like, it carried us. But it absolutely, like, it carried us because we played it and we got lucky and it turned a mediocre hand into exactly what was necessary in order to win the game. Now, if you were able, like, if I was going to rate this card out of 5, if you were able to, like, fail to find or fail to pick up a land out of the 5 that you opened, and you drew a card at your will, this card would be a 5 out of 5, and I would play it in this deck 100% 4 of all the time. As it stands, it's like a 3.5 to a 4. Being forced to grab a land, it has the same problem that Tron has in top deck mode, where if you start top decking and you only have lands, top decking a map, top decking a scrying, top decking now an Inscribed Tablet, top decking an Ancient Stirrings, and like revealing only lands is just like, it feels really bad. So I'm thinking probably what needs to happen is if you're going to be playing Inscribed Tablet, maybe you don't play it as a 4 of. Maybe you play like more threat dense than I was playing here. A lot of the recent Tron lists that I've enjoyed playing have been playing like 4 Karn small, 4 Karn big, 2 Ugin big, 1 Ugin small, 4 Wurmcoil, 2 Ulamog, Sundering Titan. Like, they're playing tons of threats. And because, like, Green Tron, you're trying to assemble Tron on turn 3, you're trying to play out something, a 7-drop on turn 3 that your opponent's just not going to be able to deal with. I think if you play a super threat-dense list, playing all of these consistency tools is worth it. So, I think it's worth trying out, and I think this card is going to be included in Green Tron here on out. Whether it's 4 of, I don't know. It might be a 2 of, might be a 3 of, or it might just be like that singleton slot filler. You don't know what else to play an Inscribed Tablet, because it's not going to be bad. It just might not be as good as other things. But I think it's better. It's definitely like the next consideration for a consistency tool after everything we already had. I don't think it's better than like Sphere Star Scrying or Sphere Star Stirrings. I don't think it's better than that at all. I think that this package is so tightly condensed and core to the Tron deck, you cannot remove it. So, and this does technically compete for deck space with it a little bit. So, but I do think this card is good. I think if you're playing Green Tron, you probably should pick these cards up. Or, open a couple Dominaria packs. They're only uncommons. I would get a hold of them if you're playing Green Tron as soon as you can, because if there is a sequence that I missed that this is super good in, you're going to want them. So I have that to say. As for the other card we were testing here with Karn Sylex, I think that Karn Sylex is probably not as good as I had hoped it would be. I'm going to keep testing it, and I think that there might be a possibility that it is good, but I would not, unless you need it for a different deck or you need it for an EDH deck, I would not sprint out and buy 1 million copies of Karn Sylex. If you can pick one up for cheap or a couple up for cheap, go ahead and get them, but like, they're not going to be important to playing constructed Tron. I don't feel. Like maybe if Yawgmoth combo takes over, but the problem is against a lot of the decks, your opponent's going to have an answer to like a lock piece. And the fact that you can't crack this immediately makes it not so great. And the fact that you can only activate it as a sorcery too, like that's the other thing that you have to consider. Like you can play an Oblivion Stone, you can pop it off on your opponent's end step, clear the board, untap, and then slam a game-ending Haymaker. But Karn Sylex does not allow that, and I think that is the... If it came in untapped, or you could activate it at instant speed, I think it would be a great card. But the fact that it has both of those restrictions, I think, puts it just outside of the options we already have. I think the other cards we can play are better. And in this league, I may have actually won another game or another match if I had had a Walking Ballista in that slot instead of the Sylex. So, something to think about. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to my channel here on YouTube if you're so inclined. It'd mean the world to me if you did. You can always change your mind later. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you want to catch me live, you can follow me on Twitch. I stream there generally about twice a week. And I play a lot of fun limited formats. I play a lot of Tron. I play a lot of modern jank stuff. And yeah, you're all wonderful human beings. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!